And good morning. It is Wednesday, if I'm not mistaken. As we go into this, our special guest that I was wrong about yesterday will be joining us today at the top of the hour at 7 o'clock. Lots to talk about what's going on. Right now, it is warm for this time of day. We're sitting at, 6:30 on the dot, and it's 75 already. What does that mean for you? We're going to reach a high here in just a little bit of about 97, but the heat index will shoot all the way to 109 today. Details on the forecast up and coming. It's going to be a hot one, so wear something cool today, to say the least. Shade trees are wonderful at this time of year. We got so much going on there. I hope your day is starting out well. J.J. Anders will be joining us later, as I mentioned there. Diane, good morning. I see Adele is up and at 'em. Steve joins us. Charlotte, Philadelphia, IA. We'll be right back. Let's go out to Collinsville now and get a good word for the day. And we'll be back with headlines that are shaping America, and our world. That'll be next.
You know, it won't be long until the Meridian Symphony Orchestra tunes up for the 25-26 season. You know, attending one of their events at the Riley Center is one of the highlights of living in the Meridian area. My family, we usually attend a couple of symphonies each year. We love them. They're so beautiful and moving. You know, our life with God really is like a symphony. Soft beginnings, moments of tension, bursts of joy, all rising toward a mighty crescendo in the finale. That's our story. You see, every act of faithfulness, every burden borne for Christ, every gift given in His name adds to the song that God is conducting for His glory. And we see this motif played out well in the closing of Apostle Paul's letter to the Philippians and to us. He says, "Now to our God and Father be the glory forever and ever." Amen. See, he's not ending that letter with a request, but a resounding doxology, a crescendoed moment of praise, declaring that life is ultimately about the glory of God. After recounting all the trials and the joys and the generosity, he lifts up his eyes and just praises God. And you and I should as well. Life with its ups and downs is building toward one great crescendo, eternal praise to our God and Father. So, beloved, your life isn't random noise. It's music rising to heaven. And whether you're now in a quiet measure or a rising chorus, live the day as part of that eternal song. Make your words, your work, your worship, your witness all part of that growing crescendo that declares, "To God be the glory forever and ever." Amen. Change begins in you.
The Change Begins in You is brought to you in part by Piggly Wiggly of Collinsville, Patrick Allen Companies, Mitchell Tire and Wrecker in Collinsville, and Mowdy Cabinetry. Hope you enjoyed that message this morning. Now, they're going to have church this afternoon. Don't forget that, always Wednesday night services. They'd love to have you downtown Collinsville or find a church near you, whichever is the easiest, but just make sure you get to go. As we start looking at headlines shaping America, Louisville, Kentucky. Now, I know your first thought is they can't pronounce their own town. I'm with you on that. It's supposed to be Louisville, but they, for some reason, call it Louisville. Bless their hearts. But they're now seeing the error of their ways. And what I mean by that is they're going to be dropping their sanctuary city status. You know, Kentucky was one of those states where it couldn't figure out whether it wanted to be in the South or where it wanted to be. It's kind of been that way since the big war, hasn't it? Sanctuary cities. They ride the line on everything, but they're dropping those policies. We'll see how that turns out for them. As we go to this over the last week, how many times have you heard Epstein and what's going on with that? Well, we got the numbers here. Maybe you watch news on cable networks. Maybe you only read it online. But as we look at what we call the main players when it comes to headlines now, no longer do you really bring up ABC, NBC. Those aren't really part of it. It goes into Fox News, MSNBC, and CNN in these areas. Last week, CNN brought up the Epstein files against Trump 751 times. MSNBC would bring it up, let me see, I think they did it 617 times, and Fox News covered it 160 times. Everybody would like to just give me the list. Do I think there's a list? I absolutely think there's a list somewhere. We all know that people visited that island. Somewhere somebody's got it. We knew in the beginning, before he passed away, or had help, however you want to word it, that it would be trouble. I mean, it was jokes. Y'all remember, he doesn't have time left. Well, he didn't. But they tell us now that, well, he didn't do anything, and that minute or 3 minutes missing of the video was just accidental.
The FAA has a manifest on. Everybody got on that airplane.
They do. If they gave the right ID, the FAA and the manifest. It's out there. Does this woman know more than she has told? Yep, but she wants protection. If you talk, you seem to disappear when it comes to these high-profile people. Like on a local level, as you'll have people that are injured and go to the hospital, and the police show up and they go, I don't know what happened. No, I done that to myself accidentally. Through 3 doors, it happened. I did it. Because they're scared. There's bad people in this world, and when you get on that level, it's even more so there. Do y'all remember, and we've lost a big-name attorney. His name was Roy Black. You go, well, I really don't remember him. Way back in the 90s, you'll remember he represented one of the Kennedy boys that had gotten accused of, well, some sexual misconduct. Of course, he had a good attorney. He's passed away at the age of 90 now. Let me remind you of this. If you're ever in trouble in America, it really doesn't boil down to whether if you are innocent or not. It boils down to how good your attorney is. Remember that. You're only as good as your attorney in a court of law. If you get a bad one, if you've ever watched My Cousin Vinny, I think that really showcases what I'm talking about. It's funny, but all at the same time, it's reality of how good your attorney is and how he can charm the jury.
So them free ones ain't real good, is that what you say?
Those free attorneys, I don't know about all that. If you remember him, I want him. My oh my. I really had not, I know very little about this girl. And I didn't realize that she was even a part of the Housewives of the Rich and Famous, but she was apparently on that show. I liked her dad, Little Pink Houses, For Me and You. Y'all remember John Cougar Mellencamp, don't you? Yeah, he was good. Little ditty about Jack and Diane. He had a bunch of songs. Well, apparently, he's got a daughter named Teddy Mellencamp. Her house was recently broken into. Kind of spooky there. Well, I don't know which one.
Go down some. Was that?
Yeah, she had, I don't know if she was sick or that was just a picture. Yeah, somebody could have taken her hair wig. That was from a while back. I think she's got some blonde hair nowadays. But bless her heart, house was broken into. We're going to talk about a burglary in just a minute that is coming up that will shock you, to make you want to make sure you're covered. Now, as we get into the Biden thing, I brought up one day this week about what his son Hunter said about his dad, that he possibly could have been on a sleeping pill that made him not do so well at that thing. And he goes into a 3-hour explanation in a podcast. As the podcast digs deeper into this, sometimes it's just best to hush and go on. He starts talking about, Dad's 81 years old. He had traveled the country 3 or 4 times back in an airplane, and he was tired. That tells me his dad was not capable of being president if he can't handle that. He really wasn't thinking about what he was saying, but he proved the point that it was time for him to go, all at the same breath, whether he took a sleeping pill or not. As I went back, and early this morning, somewhere around 3, I watched one of the clips from that debate. He stumbled, and it was ugly. He didn't need to be there, and we all know that. As I mentioned just a moment ago, burglaries. Do you remember us? We've been talking about this for a little over a week now. The American Idol producer that was murdered, her and her husband. How did it happen? They had been dead in the home, as we found out now, for 4 days. The home had been broken into. Police responded. They made a circle around the house. They didn't see anything wrong. They went on about their merry way. They had left a door open. They were murdered with their own gun. The guy broke in the house. They returned. He was in the home when they were there through an open door. The alarm didn't go off. A neighbor had called in. I see something a little strange is how the police were called to begin with. But murdered with their own weapon. And some parts of it I don't quite understand. I think the guy that actually did it made a call to 911 at some point. And then they were able to go back and trace the phone where he was. He's been arrested. God bless him. But my whole point on all that is some things can be avoided. Make sure to lock your doors before you leave home. And it never hurts to do what they used to call when you get into your car before you back out to do a 360. It never hurts to walk around your house and go, oh, there's a window broke. Maybe I shouldn't go in. Something to think on. Bless their hearts. Now, I dug deep into this morning. Situations arise nationwide when the police pull you over or you go through a roadblock and they walk up to your window and they go, Can I have your driver's license, registration, and your insurance card? Well, the best thing to do is give it to them. It saves a bunch of headache later. But as we go to Jacksonville, Florida, rump row. Now, they have been cleared, the police officers, as we dig into this. They've released the body cam footage of this. I'm going to show you a clip of this, of what the police have released. Let me give you an example of what was going on. It was raining, a drizzle, not a lot. By Florida law, you have to have your headlights on. That gives police probable cause to pull you over if you don't have your headlights on. This is the case. They pull up. The guy's window of his car doesn't work. He opens the door and he's talking to a police officer. They ask for his driver's license and he refuses. He gets into a verbal argument with him and he locks the door. More officers arrive on the scene. They circle the car, as they do as often. It become a threat. Now, all at the same time, in the floorboard is a knife about yay long. In the floorboard, they keep repeating, open the door and step out. We're going to break the window. He refuses, just will not do it. Police, as you've seen before, busted the window. He gets hit in the face. He gets drug out of the car and cuffed. Marijuana on him, suspended driver's license, and
Well, he didn't have nothing to show anyway.
he didn't have any to show. And all he had to do was tell him. And he was also arrested and charged with resisting arrest because he wouldn't do it. And it was a squabble on the ground. And there's so many different angles and different body cameras. Here's the car here, as you'll see there. Hey, I'm about to break the window, as it's written there. This comes directly from their.
I'm about to break the window. All right, go for it. Exit the vehicle now! Exit the vehicle! Show me your hands. Here.
He's not opening it. Now, what you haven't seen here is the different angle of this. He's also recording it inside his car. And he does get knocked upside the jaw. He gets drugged to the ground. Let me just slide this over just a little bit. It goes through the hassle that they go through. He's going to be on the ground here in just a second. Maybe I went too far. There's the knife in the floorboard here. It's right down in there. But what they determined, I was trying to hear he is on the ground here. He's not real happy about it.
4574, lift 1033, when it goes free.
Stop. We down, man. You're under arrest. Yes, bro. Yes.
And this goes on and on, him yelling back and forth with police. If all he had done was handed them or said, I don't have a driver's license, he wouldn't have been hit. His car wouldn't have had a busted window, and he wouldn't have been drug out. Life would have been.
Let him go.
Yeah.
With another driver.
Well, no, not with marijuana, though.
He had marijuana, and
Unless he had a score.
I don't think it was medical Mary Jane that he had on him. But all of that could have been avoided. And again, Odie has said this before. You've watched our show many times. You cannot win on the side of the road. The police will win. The best thing to do is take it up in court, or go to the police station after it's all said and done and ask for a meeting with the chief and go, this is what happened, pull the body. A lot can be said and done. He did have that knife in the floorboard. Police officers felt threatened. As the police chief did give a press conference after this was all said and done, he goes, yeah, there was a little force that was put on it, but he goes, they didn't break the law in what they did. It escalated to a scene to where they had to do this. We see this every day in America. Sometimes it doesn't end up as good as that did. We see a case, and I think I may have that, to where a guy, and I see this here so many times, to where it could possibly be somebody that has, well, their thinking mixed up. Is that a good way to word that? Yeah. Police arrive on the scene. They ask them to heed by the law. They start yelling in an argument. This is Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is where I'm going with this. Big old boy gets in a fight. He ends up, they throw him to the ground. He's fighting them. They use the knee maneuver on him. He ends up having a heart attack and dies while in custody. They're being blamed for, and as you look at this, had he listened, none of that would have happened either. It was excessive what went on in Tuscaloosa. Irondale, I believe, is where it was.
What happened when we were kids at school and we acted up?
Well, you got in trouble when you acted up.
You got licked by the coach.
You did. JJ's back there.
What happens now when you get in trouble?
You don't get in trouble. You get an attorney and you cry. And maybe there's more to this Tuscaloosa, Irondale thing, but at the end of the day, had the man not been doing all that, he would still be with us today. Comply with the police, and it wouldn't have been put into a situation like that. It's awful. I hate it happened. Eric, how did I say his name? Mendez. He's been hospitalized with a serious medical condition, family says. It's so serious that they want him out of jail again. Key thing there. Do you remember where we talked about the man who had drove into the L.A. crowd with a car? Yeah. 37 people injured. He's going to be charged with 37 counts of attempted murder. Oof, that's a lot. That's how many lives he put at risk by doing that. Trump has announced a trade deal with Japan. That's good for us. 15% there. We're going to be making Japan will make a $550 million investment. That's good for both countries there. Gets a little better for us there. We had a nurse, and this goes back to police. They pulled someone over in Pennsylvania. They asked for ID. The lady handed them ID, but it was false. As they further searched the car, she would have 20 aliases, 7 Social Security numbers, and she'd been practicing as a nurse. She's been arrested. What was she doing? Treating patients illegally under false name? We don't know. She's in jail this morning, though. Delta in Mexico nearly collided with another plane. Everybody's okay, but it was a close call there. If they've officially said it, U.S. Olympics, if you're transgender, you won't be playing in the man, or a man can't go play in a women's field in the Olympics now. It's official. That has passed. That's going to upset a few. It'll be okay. They'll get over that. What else do we have this morning? We have a man that has been arrested. This is New York, is where this all happened. He's been indicted on charges that he built several homemade IEDs and were planning to use them in public. He actually tossed one on a subway track. It didn't go off. Police arrived and defused that. What was he up to? There's bad folks amongst us. We still have a lot of work to do. Our borders were open for how many years? Let's see what else we've got this morning. Miami. You can't do this, but the city council tried it. Coming up in November is the elections. They wanted to postpone them until 2026. It's against the law. The judges ruled you've got to hold your election when you're supposed to. Now, I don't know what prompted them to want to change that or what their cry was, but election is election. Keep it to it. Alaska. Now, I've never been. I hear it's absolutely beautiful. I've watched enough that where they're searching for gold and off the grid. It's a beautiful country, isn't it? One thing to keep in mind, if you're in Alaska, there's bears. They are looking for a bear that had attacked a woman on an Alaskan trail. She's going to be okay. But remember, while traveling in places like that, bears are, well, Tennessee as well. Let's see what else is happening today. NASA, this almost reminded me of the TV show that had Bruce Willis in it, you know, where they landed on the asteroid and had to what was that? I'll think of it in a minute, but most of you remember that show where they had to destroy the asteroid. NASA says a plane-sized asteroid will pass Earth next week. That's pretty big, isn't it? I don't think it's going to get too close to us, but they are going to do that. Let's see. Wisconsin, after what happened, what was that, 2 months ago where the lawmaker was killed at her home? Y'all remember that? I think it was Massachusetts is where that went on there. Wisconsin, it could have been another state. A Wisconsin state representative was checking cameras around their home. A shirtless man tried to get into their home. Now, he didn't get in, but he attempted it. And again, we want to remind you, if you're watching the average Joe, you should purchase some security cameras of some sort and have at your home where you can rewind and see what goes on. What goes on after dark? Sometimes we miss it while we're working hard and sleeping. That's odd. Let's see here. I can't tell you how many times I've heard or been in a crowd at a wreck and a police officer will have to leave to go to a home because somebody called 911 and hung up. Now, I think y'all are familiar with that. You've heard stories of that. They've done just that. This was Michigan. They went to the home and the husband had Then the ultimate bad thing, though, the wife was deceased by the time they reached there. She wasn't able to say anything. She just dialed 911, and the phone was hung up. Did he hang up on him, take it from her? It's a strong possibility. But that's how important it is to get to scenes like that, domestic. I'll have to go back and read on that. I did not. It was dry. I know enough to talk about this. The little girl, New York City, her father was arrested for her murder. And I think we talked about this yesterday. As we learn more about this, she was a victim of a drowning. Now, you and I can only imagine her last few moments on earth, how that was. If it is true he did, he should pay. There's been all types of memes across the country talking about this. The British F-35 that's been stranded in India. They're everywhere. Well, it finally got fixed, repaired, and it's flown out. So things are getting better for that. The memes will hopefully slow down a little bit. We'll check your forecast next as we get into this wonderful Wednesday morning.
Hi, this is Nick at Doc's Toyota, and we are excited to put you in a new Toyota today. We have no dealer markup, no hidden fees, no hassle, and our inventory is always priced to move. Our top-notch sales department and first-class service after the sale guarantees you a fast and comfortable buying experience like you've never had. So come see why month after month, more and more customers have chose to buy from Doc's Toyota. So come see us here at Doc's Toyota in Philadelphia, at docstoyota.com or on Facebook, and remember, there's no deal like a Doc's deal.
For over 40 years, you've been able to count on Watt Equipment in DeKalb, Mississippi. They've got your Massey Ferguson's brand new 23 up to 135 horse cab and air tractors. They've got all your hay equipment needs, all your bush hogs. If your tractor needs it, they got it. Also remember, they service all makes and models, whether it's green, orange, blue, red, or yellow. They can get your parts in, they can do your service on your equipment. Don't forget Watt Equipment, DeKalb, Mississippi.
Your forecast is brought to you by EMEPA.
Those record highs, record lows back in 81. We had that day yesterday. It was 104 today back then. Today's high should only reach about 97, but the heat index will top that at 109. Our record low was set back in 47 when we had a low of 54. No report from Mississippi or Alabama this morning, so we'll go straight into this heat stress. Look at this. It's going to be hot here. As we'll see, this goes up to the 110 mark. We're already saying that Meridian area, and that includes Philadelphia, Louisville, will be about 109. Clark County as well. To our west, north, and south, it'll be worse up to 115. Watch what you're doing. Stay hydrated. We'll see the same thing for tomorrow. Not as bad in East Mississippi. It picks up there at Newton, back west toward Jackson. And as we come across here, here's what we look for the nation there. And that is that heat wave here that is so rough. Now, as we look at our 7-day forecast, we've got 97 today, a 30% chance of showers later on this afternoon. High, again, 97, low tonight, 75. We'll see an increased chance of rain beginning tomorrow, jumping to a 50% chance. Friday, 80% chance, leveling off at 60% on Saturday and decreasing down to a 40% chance on Sunday and Monday. Now, the highs are going to remain in those mid-90s for the most part. During those heavy rain periods, we could see 90 to 91 along in there. We're back to 98 next Tuesday. It will be hot as we go all the way through August the 6th. As school gets ready to begin here, we'll see some hot days and rain chances ahead. And it does, as usual, look like it will be a wet one off and on for the Neshoba County Fair. What's happening to fishing today? Let's talk about that. The wind's going to be calm, coming northwest around 5 miles an hour this morning. Now, major times to fish will be at 11 o'clock today through 1 p.m. A minor time will be there for the final hour of daylight from 7 till 8. Sunrise happened at 6:03 this morning. We should see that sunset start rolling in around 7:58, so you got a moment or two to get out there. Let's go to radar and take a look at what we have this morning as we click over and go to Doc's Toyota radar. Look at this heat that we've got. Now, we see an extreme heat advisory being issued until 8 p.m. Now, this is going to take in the Louisville area there in Winston County, all of our friends up here in Macon, Noxubee County, you're under this northward into Starkville. Now, the Meridian area coming across from Leake, Neshoba County, into Kemper County, Newton, Lauderdale, and into Clark counties will all be into just a regular heat one. We got a heat wave, but not quite what we got, say, just a heat advisory. Extreme for those areas. Jasper County, Boy, y'all are in this extreme as well. No rain popping up on this. We do show a few showers down here around Alabama, around Kirkland. Nothing major here, Apalachicola, Florida. We got a little bit of rain in those areas there at Twin Pole, Florida. Nothing major. We got showers off the coast of Houma, Louisiana, south of Biloxi there in the Gulf of America. Could affect Mobile a little bit later on today. That's how it's shaping up. We'll be back in just a moment. J.J. Anders joins us as we'll talk about a lot going on this morning. Wesley, good to see you there. Steve? So make sure to make us part of your morning. We're going to tell you all that went on yesterday, what's coming up this weekend. All that's in store for us, and it begins at 7 a.m. just a few moments from now. We'll see you in just a second at the Scotty Ray Report.